Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for today's video where I will be discussing about Tom Aspinall's video of him basically providing us an update with what's going on with his upcoming fight against Jon Jones. But before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, share button and subscribe button for more great content. Right, let's get into the video. Tom Aspinall provided us an update of what's been going on with regards to the negotiations with himself, Jon Jones. Is his fight going to happen? Is he going to have to move on? And let's be honest, like when the video dropped, we thought, oh, is it going to be a news about when's the fight's going to happen? Unfortunately, not. It is what we probably expected. I'll just share the screen here. Tom Aspinall said that he's spoken to the UFC multiple times about the proposed fight with Jon Jones, which is pretty obvious because we know Tom Aspinall has been on this from the get-go since Jones even announced that he was coming back from his injury to refight Stipe. He's been pretty vocal, and rightly so, saying that he shouldn't be fighting Stipe, he should be fighting me, because that's what usually happens when you have a undisputed champion out with injury and you have an interim title. You usually have a unification fight to sort of unify the divisions. But then I forgot, Jon Jones does whatever he wants with regards to the UFC. And let's be honest, this video didn't really tell us anything new. It just told us what we already knew. What is holding the fight up at the moment is Jon Jones' side. And as we know, from the build-up to UFC 309, where he fought Stipe, we knew that Jon Jones wasn't really entertaining the Tom Aspinall questions, He was saying, look, what's he done to earn a shot at me, basically? And it's like, well, Jon, he is your interim heavyweight champion. Like, you should be unifying. Then if you still want to fight Stipe afterwards, if you win, or even if you lose, if you still want to fight Stipe afterwards, we don't mind it. We don't want it because this fight should have happened about 8 years prior. But if you want to, then yeah, we'll happily see Stipe, but only after you have unified the belt. And obviously, we know that he didn't want to do an interview with Adam Cattrall from TNT Sport because of his relationships with Tom Aspinall. We know that even in the actual press conference with the crowd even were putting pressure on him, saying that and even Dana said himself, I'll play the clip. Play a 25-second clip, right?
Gonna fight Tom. The winner should absolutely fight Tom.
Well, I'm not going to play any more just in case he doesn't get copyright. But Dana White said himself, winner fights Tom. Crowds erupts. Jon Jones, knock it off. Because we know Jon Jones is not interested in this fight. Because it's a fight that is dangerous for him. Because he knows that there is a possibility that he could lose this fight. And he doesn't want to lose the aura, the mystique. Which I completely understand. And we know that he only wants to take this fight if he's offered what he politely called FU money. And we know the history with the UFC. They don't provide you FU money without some serious, I don't think the UFC has ever bowed to a fighter's demands where it's like asking for FU money. Remember Mighty Mouse wanting £1 million to fight? I think it was like $1 million to fight TJ Dillashaw, and the UFC basically went, puh, no. And that was to Mighty Mouse, arguably one of the other GOATs of the sport. Didn't even want to pay him £1 million because he doesn't draw the pay-per-views, even though that Jon Jones' entire UFC career has never really been a pay-per-view draw. Even at the height of Jon Jones' career, when he was arguably in his prime, in all of the midst of all of his out of the cage antics, with the height of his feud with DC, even the second fight with DC, didn't even crack 1 million pay-per-view buys. and we know the buy rate is different now than it was back then. Like, the need for pay-per-views isn't as much now as it is back then, but even then, Jon Jones wasn't cracking 1 million pay-per-view buys. And the video that Tom Aspinall dropped, does it really surprise anyone that Jon Jones is holding everything up? As it said, what's holding him up? It's his side. The UFC tell me, they assure me they're doing everything they can do to make the fight. I'm literally waiting for the day. And look, do I believe the UFC are actually actively trying to make this fight? Yes, I do. I do. Because what we've realized in the UFC spectrum, if Dana really wants this fight to happen, which he's been open and honest on multiple occasions, how much Dana really wants this fight will happen. But for the fight to happen, he's going to have to do something that Dana hasn't really done and probably doesn't really like to do. And that is, one, is cough up the cash to make this fight happen, even if it is $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. Even if you have to buckle down and pay, then you pay. If you want to see that fight, or what do you do? For me, because this was rumored to happen June, July, right? And we know the rumor for June and July, the rumor is for International Fight Week is Islam versus Ilya. And that has been, in the woodworks for a while, right? Now, that can't be breaking news. That can't be breaking news. So, obviously, that's the rumored fight for the UFC. For UFC 317, which is International Fight Week, where we were supposed to be having Jon Jones and Tommy Aspinall. However, with this rumor, I said this when the rumor broke a while ago, that if this rumor comes out, then I am concerned for the big fight, because unless they're going to super stack this card, in which they would have to pay out more money, then we're not going to get the Tom Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight, because this fight on its own is worthy to main event in International Fight Week. Even with all the concerns about Islam not wanting to fight Ilya because he needs to, prove himself at 55, etc. But if this is going to be the rumor, the rumored at the moment rumor, I will use very loosely the word rumor, because we know aggravator accounts say, "Oh, this has been confirmed," even though it's not being confirmed yet. So, it'll be very interesting how this unfolds. But going back to this, another quote. Right, Jon Jones is holding. What the truth is now is that Jon Jones is holding up the negotiations. Tom Aspinall even said that he will retire Jon Jones without fighting Jon Jones. If not, I'll fight someone else for the undisputed belt. I'm happy to fight anyone, which has been consistent from Tom Aspinall from the get-go. I want to fight Jon Jones because I want to unify the belt and prove that I am the best. If not, strip him and I'll fight someone else. All I want is undisputed gold, which has been consistent. But the thing is, right, like, Tom Aspinall's not fought since last June, July. And if this fight doesn't go ahead, which at the moment for me, it's 50-50 whether or not this fight is even going to go ahead, right? It's not going to happen in June. So Tom Aspinall's going to be out the octagon for over a year before you get him back into an undisputed title shot against Cyril Gane. A fight that, yes, we probably wanted to see for a while, but based on Cyril's last performance, are we sure that he is even worthy of fighting Tom Aspinall, even though that he somehow scraped a decision win over Alexander Volkov? We're sure that he's even deserving this opportunity. And look, we know Jon is a bit of a troll, and we know that if he relinquishes the belt and has his Alex Pereira fight, which he wants to do, he wants to have his Alex Pereira fight, he wants to have his legacy fights, which I don't have a problem. Like, people know my views on Jon Jones. It's like, I do think he's a drugs cheat. He should have been banned. and he's nowhere near my GOAT because of that. Look, if he wants to have his legacy fights, I've got no issue with that. Just drop the belt. Just drop the belt. Just drop the belt. Have your legacy fights with Alex Pereira. Look, if you think you can even drop down to 205, go back down to 205 and fight Pereira for the light heavyweight belt. You know, drop that belt and let the division move on. But we know that if he's to drop the belt and Tom Aspinall wins, we know Jon's going to be twerping. Oh, you can't say that you're like, let's say it right. Hypothetical. Jon drops the belt, does the honourable thing and drops the belt. Let Tom Aspinall defend. Let Tom Aspinall become undisputed and he defends it successfully 3 or 4 times. And Tom Aspinall goes, well, I'm now the GOAT at heavyweight. And now we're going to get Jon Jones twerping on X. Oh, you can't be the GOAT because you didn't beat me. Well, that's because you didn't want to fight. Because you didn't want to fight. Because you wanted FU money. And we know the UFC don't like to pay you FU money. So it's a catch-22. And I feel for Tom. I feel for him whatsoever because he's in a lose-lose situation. He's in a lose-lose situation, really, because if he fights Jon, yeah, is he in a lose-lose situation? Yeah, sort of. Because if he fights Jon Jones, it's probably going to be the back end of the year, and he's going to be even longer out the octagon, giving Jon Jones the advantage. Even though that if it's not going to be International Fight Week and be the end of the year, Jon Jones will be out the octagon for a year. He'll be out for about 18 months. But the thing is that is concerning is that I don't think this fight's going to happen. And I've always been like, if we don't hear anything like by the end of the next the couple of pay-per-view events where they like to drop something big, because most of the cards have done, like 314's cards being pretty much confirmed, 315's cards confirmed. If we don't hear anything by UFC 315 about this fight, then this fight ain't happening. And I want to see, Dana strip him of the belt. Strip him off the belt. I know Dana probably doesn't want to strip him off the belt because it's probably a little bit of a bad look. But if he is not willing to fight Tom Aspinall and does not want to defend that belt, he needs to strip it. He needs to strip him off the belt and let the division move on. Let Tom Aspinall have the opportunity, his rightful opportunity to become undisputed champion and prove he's the best in the world. And let Jon Jones do whatever Jon Jones wants to do. If he wants to have fights with Alex Pereira, if he wants to have legacy fights, super fights that don't involve the belt, then crack on, because we'll probably still be watching. But if he's content on holding up the division because he's waiting for the UFC to pay him FU money, which probably is not going to happen, then that's unacceptable in my eyes. But let's hope we get this sorted out, because this is one of the biggest fights the UFC can make this year. One of the biggest, behind probably as well as Islam Ilya. As much as I don't want it to happen, probably Jones Pereira. So it is one of the biggest fights they can make, and it's the right fight to make. It's the right fight to make. This, as I said this multiple times, this is not boxing. We do not have multiple champions in divisions. We have one champion, one undisputed champion. And at the moment, at heavyweight, there is no undisputed champion. Jon Jones is a disputed champion because there is an interim champion in Tom Aspinall. And it's only right for the UFC and for Jon Jones to do the right thing and give the fans what they want. Give Tom Aspinall the opportunity to become undisputed. Put your legacy on the line, Jon Jones. Put your legacy on the line, just like the others did for you when you were in the infancy of your career, when you were fighting for the belt against veterans who probably didn't want to give you the opportunity, but gave you the opportunity. Give Tom Aspinall the same opportunity that you were given. Now, if you were to win, and then you wanted to have the Pereira fight and retire, you know what? I'd still slander you because you're a drugs cheat and probably shouldn't be in the business at the moment. But if you beat Tom Aspinall and you want to sail off into the sunset, I'll be like, yeah, great. But let's give the fans what we want. And that is for you to have your next fight against Tom Aspinall for the undisputed heavyweight title. Just give her what we want, John. It's that simple. But anyway, guys, make sure you hit the like button, share button, and subscribe button for this video. Let me know if you like these types of videos. I'm trying to really up the content, really. So let me know if you like this type of stuff. But what's coming up next on the channel is UFC 313 this week, Pereira versus Ankalaev. So there will be a preview out this week with Jamie and with Callum. I don't know which day that will be yet. It will most likely be a Wednesday. So check out Wednesday. There will be, I don't know whether or not it'll be a live or a pre-recorded. Not too sure yet, but keep an eye out on my X account, which is at LukeTanner257. I should be on Combat Catch Up with Callum tomorrow and Jamie as well. So make sure you tune into that as well. Links in the description for Jamie Phillips Football Chats, Sanderson Show, who's nearly on 5K, and I'll also put a link in to the Tom Aspinall fight update in the description. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all very soon.